Good afternoon. I have a very strange designation. It's called the Chief Belief Officer. This designation does not exist anywhere. We created it in the Future Group for only one reason, that when you give someone this visiting card, they must ask you, what do you do? And at the end of the conversation, they must call me for a conference. And as you can see, I have been fairly successful. So it is the world's cheapest marketing strategy. Create a name, get people to think, and get invited to conferences. There are many conferences happening, so I thought I'll just wait for a minute. If someone can tell them. Yeah. Thank you. Let me tell you a little bit of my journey. As the master of the ceremony explained, I worked in medical and healthcare. That was my background. That used to pay my bills. But my free time I used to work on mythology. And then when I met Kishore Biani, he said that, why don't you do this full time? And I said, then who will pay my bills? Because mythology doesn't pay. And he said, what if I take care of your bills? What if I take care of your expenses? Okay, gentlemen, let's decide. If you want to dismantle that, that's going to create a lot of noise. So I will wait till you dismantle, or you all can suspend that for 45 minutes. Huh? Yeah, I will wait because this is getting a little bit too much. Sorry. Yeah, if they can stop.
Hello.
Yeah?
A request to all the stall owners, can you please suspend the packaging and dismantling for next 45 minutes at least, because the session is getting affected. It's a humble request. Kindly suspend the dismantling for next 45 minutes at least, please.
Yeah, sorry. See, these are not prepared speeches. I sort of speak on the fly, so I need a little, apologies if I sound like a diva, but it's just effects, and it's not fair to you, it's not fair to me. So what does it mean? When, it was a very strange meeting. It happened in Bombay in Express Stars, and Kishore said, "Ye full time karo." And here in front of me is a Marwadi businessman who is telling me, I'm going to pay you full time to talk on, think and work and write on mythology. And I'm asking myself, remember I'm in Ernst & Young at that time, and I'm asking, what's the return on investment? Because I'm going to ask him a very high fee. If he's planning to pay my bills are going to inflate. And I said, what's the return on investment? Why are you doing this? And he said, all kinds of knowledge exist in the world and they're locked somewhere. India ka gyan kahan pe hai? Where is India's knowledge? All the knowledge that every manager that I hire in Future Group is an IIT, IIM, Hindustan Lever, the Procter & Gamble, all of them are educated in systems and ideas which came from Europe and America. Where is Indian knowledge? I have always believed that India has been a trading country for thousands of years. We had traders, we had merchants. So economics has always been part of our culture. So where is all that knowledge? And he said, I believe it is locked in mythology. And I have not met someone who works on mythology. I've met you. I would like to take a chance with you. Now, I always believed in the subject. I always knew there was a lot of wisdom, and I was always wondering why nobody's taking it seriously. Perhaps because mythology is not taught in our schools and colleges. It's not part of our day-to-day life. And as we are a secular state, we want to stay away from anything remotely religious. And we make the mistaken assumption that mythology is something to do with religion. It is not. It is a vocabulary. It's a language which can be used by religion. It can be used by businesses. It can be used by governments, and it is. So I will not get into the mere. What I'll do focus on today is let's try this journey. Let's go on a short journey and understand what am I talking about. You cannot understand it unless you jump into it, immerse into it. So let's begin with this image. Okay, so this is an image of Gomateshwar Bahubali, a little far from Mysore. Every 12 to 14 years, this gigantic statue is bathed with water and milk. From a literal perspective, it makes no sense. From a literal perspective, what are you doing? You're pouring so much of water on a statue. Why are you doing this? But if you start looking at it symbolically, it means something very different. It means an abhishek, an awakening. Every day in the morning, all of us take a bath. When we take a bath, we feel fresh and we go out to do our business. But when was the last time you gave your mind a bath? How do you refresh your mind? दिमाग को हम कैसे खोलते हैं ताकि नए आइडियाज आए, नए फ्रेमवर्क्स आए, ताकि जब हम धंधे में जाएं तो बिजनेस वी लुक एट द प्रॉब्लम वेरी डिफरेंटली. कब किया है हमने? एंड द पर्पस ऑफ सेशंस लाइक दिस, जिसको पहले जमाने में शास्त्रार्थ कहते थे, वाज ओनली दिस: टेक यू ऑन अ जर्नी सो दैट इट एक्सपैंड्स योर माइंड. आप प्रॉब्लम जब देखो अलग तरीके से देखो, तो दो शब्द हैं इंडिया में. एक है सगुण, दैट विच कैन बी सीन, दैट विच इज विजिबल, दैट विच कैन बी मेजर्ड. मॉडर्न मैनेजमेंट सेज दैट विच कैन बी मेजर्ड कैन बी मैनेज्ड. सगुण. इंडियन थॉट सेज सगुण के पीछे होता है निर्गुण. वॉट कैनॉट बी सीन, वॉट इज इनविजिबल, intangible, which cannot be measured, this can be felt, एहसास होता है. Management is not about sagun, it is about nirgun. So management is about the journey from sagun to nirgun. sagun तो सबको पता है, उसमें बड़ी बात क्या है? निर्गुण में पता चलता है राजा कौन और वणिक कौन. It is the ability to see the invisible. It is a Kishore Biyani able to look at a market and says, retail will work. His ability to see that in this market a mall will work where nobody else could see. All of y'all are entrepreneurs. Y'all saw opportunities that others could not see. So opportunity is sagun or nirgun. And that's the whole trick. Imagine if you can see more opportunities and more opportunities and more opportunities that others cannot see. That is the journey of management. It's very simply explained, and that's how the scriptures talk. Sagun ko mat dekho. Sagun is measurable. That B schools are there for that. Measurable Excel sheets. What you focus on is निर्गुण. वहां से एंटरप्रेन्योर्स निकलते हैं. सगुण देखना दृष्टि है, साइट. निर्गुण देखना दिव्य दृष्टि है, what nobody else can see. दृष्टि से दिव्य दृष्टि इज दर्शन. दर्शन करो. Look at the market. You can see things that others cannot see. Only when you can see what others cannot see will you succeed. That is the journey. सगुण क्या है? पत्थर के ऊपर पानी. Measurable, understandable by all. निर्गुण क्या है? What is the communication of the ancestors? वो बता क्या रहे हैं? What are they trying to communicate? Pouring gallons and gallons of water and milk on a statue. They were not idiots. They are talking about rejuvenation, revitalization, regeneration, rethinking, redefinition, redesigning, which is necessary part of life. Every time we have to do this. Every year we do this in different forms or the other. We have annual, aapke companies check out, you will have an annual day, you will have an appraisal system which is always renewing itself. And that's the point of it. So now let's look at a very specific, and उसके निर्गुण देखते हैं. तो सगुण से निर्गुण is the journey. So in the next 45 minutes, I will only go from sagun to nirgun and see darshan बढ़ता है कि नहीं बढ़ता है. Okay, let's just see whether we can see it or not. So let's begin with this. This is a very famous Rath Yatra festival of Puri. So 3 gigantic Rath are built, and Krishna, his brother Balabhadra and his sister Subhadra go on this chariot ride across. It happens every year just before the rainy season. It's a fantastic ceremony, it's a tourist attraction. ये सगुण है, सबको दिखाई देता है. What we are not told are these chariots are destroyed every year. Every year these gigantic chariots are destroyed, ripped to pieces. Every year. What is so special about this Ratha Yatra, this chariot journey? Sagun, and you hear the commentaries and everybody is talking Sagun language. That's not magic. There's no magic there. Magic is in Nirguna. And then you have to read the Bhagavad. And when you read the Bhagavad, you come across another chariot ride. This is the chariot ride. The Bhagavad is, Krishna's story is told in 2 parts. Krishna is a very popular character in Indian mythology. He has 2 parts. One is the Bhagavad, the other is the Mahabharata. और भागवत और महाभारत के बीच में भाव में बहुत फर्क है. Bhagavad is full of romance and happiness and joy and love, vatsalya ras, shringar ras, very beautiful. When you enter the Mahabharata, it's all politics, complicated, manipulation, maneuvering, all kinds of horrible things, blood. Bhagavad about milk and butter. भाव बहुत अलग है. So a point comes in Krishna's life when he's in Madhuban dancing, doing the Rasa Leela, enjoying himself, having a great party, when suddenly a chariot appears. A chariot appears and says, boss, aapko jana hai Mathura. Khatam ho gaya. Enough of this dancing and singing. Abhi aapko nikalna hai yahan se. And so Krishna and Balabhadra are sitting on this chariot and they're going away. And the women of Madhuban are shouting and screaming and say, don't go, mat jao, Mathura mat jao. Don't put an end to Madhuban. Don't go away. Stop, stop, stop. They don't want him to go. Because when he will go, this will end, this wonderful Rasa Leela. Beautiful place where there is joy and ceremony and music and dance. They are afraid that he will go into Kurukshetra, the battlefield. Terrible battlefield where people are going to kill each other, cut each other's heads, rip out each other's eyes. The charioteer, incidentally, is called Akrura. Jo Kroor nahi hai. Because everybody is shouting at him, why are you taking Krishna away? Why are you taking Krishna away? But he's saying, I'm not doing it. I'm an agent of change. I'm doing my job. I'm supposed to do this. And Krishna is looking calm and composed and saying, mujhe to jana hai. And when you look at this ceremony, it is the reverse. It is devotees hoping that one day Krishna will return to Madhuban. He'll come back. If you look, he's going out without his sister. There is no sister, there are only 2 brothers. They are hoping that he'll come back to Madhuban. And that is the celebration. We are all seeking to go into Madhuban. We all have an imagination of a world where everything is perfect, where customers are perfect, and clients are perfect, and vendors are perfect, and partners are perfect, and we are all Ras Leela and you are Krishna, and they are dancing around you. Unfortunately, the moment you step out of this and return to your office, Kurukshetra will start. And you're not sure who is the Kaurava and who is the Pandava. War every day, numbers not being achieved, every day in the evening, kitne log mare? नया महारथी को हायर करो. अरे इज नॉट टर्निंग आउट टू बी, वो तो चोर निकल रहा है. द डे टू डे ग्राइंड ऑफ Mahabharata comes in. But all of us begin, when you started as an entrepreneur, ask yourself, you began with the imagination of Madhuban. दुनिया अच्छा होगा. It will be better than what it was. Something will be better. This cannot be it. When people join your companies, they are seeking Madhuban. वो job से ये job जरूर बेहतर होगा. Every time we shift, every time we take a decision, we are hoping that the decision, the shift, the change will take us to a better place. A place where we are in control. Look at Madhuban very carefully. You are in control. You are the Krishna. And everybody is dancing to your tunes. It's perfect. But let's look at it again, a little deeper. The Ras Leela always takes place at night. It always takes place in the middle of the forest, Vana. Now, if I take you to the middle of the forest at night, what is the primary emotion that you will feel? Fear. It's the primary emotion. And yet this image is paradoxical. It shows a party, it shows joy, it shows happiness. It's paradoxical. In a frightening place, there is no fear. That is what is aspiration. I want to go to a place. Look at there is no relationship between the men and the women, very clearly told repeatedly. They are not obliged by law. They are not obliged by anything. They are not brother, sister, blood is not a relationship. Everybody here is voluntary. They hear the flute and they come. It's a voluntary movement. Okay, it's voluntary, but it is well coordinated. Everybody is in a circle. Everybody feels included. So imagine your company. People are joining you at an employee relationship. Let's talk about employer-employee. Why does an employee join you? He expects life will be a little better. He expects that the boss will treat me fairly. He wants to feel included. Every day when he comes, he is coming into Madhuban of his own free will joyfully and finding a place for himself there. It's a visual geometrical abstraction of a feeling. Nobody likes coming to a Kurukshetra. Nobody likes coming to a Kurukshetra. Same applies to a customer. You go and you sell an idea. Do you blow the conch shell of war or do you play the flute of love? Is he walking towards you? What is the relationship between the customer and the vendor? What is the ideal relationship you like? If I trust you, you will get the business. Or is the business based on absence of trust? And those are the questions we have to ask. See, these are theoretical concepts. Why do you give theoretical concepts? You give theoretical concepts to give you a framework. It's a framework. It's never going to be this or that. Never. Life is never so simple. The day you get the contract, you're in Madhuban. The moment you have to execute it, Kurukshetra starts all over again. It's always a journey, but are you aware of it? Are you aware of the aspirations of your employee? Are you aspirations of... Because everybody wants to go into Madhuban. It feels good. It's about the Rath Yatra. Unless, of course, you enjoy quarreling and makes you feel powerful. That's a different world. That's also an option. But the question is, if you look in biblical terms, you're talking about the journey to the promised land. How does business begin? All businesses begin with one thing, the vision statement. Vision statement is imagination. It's a grand image. This is where we want to go. Then comes mission statement. The grand unachievable dream is reduced into achievable outcomes. Then comes the objectives and the goals. Slowly and slowly it becomes far and far more measurable. So Nirguna se Saguna aate hai. Vision, mission, objective, goals. You start shifting. But it is a promised land. Without that vision, you can't walk. That is what took people, once upon a time, if you read the Exodus in the Bible, they talk about people being enslaved. They were in this Egypt and they were slaves there. And one day a man comes and says, I will take you to the promised land. I will take you to this promised land, and people follow him. And they follow him. Do you have a map to the promised land? No. Are you sure you will get to where you want to go 10 years from today? Let's say today your turnover is 50 crores and you want to go to 500 crores in 10 years. Do you have a map? Are you absolutely sure? It's an aspiration right now. It's a dream. It's a promised land. It's your North Star. It directs you. You're going in that direction. Where you are right now is Egypt. You want to go to the promised land. But the journey is through the wilderness. It is through the wilderness. It is going to be tough. You have to keep, there are rules, there are systems, there are processes, and you have to walk that journey. And that's the journey of the entrepreneur. He is the prophet. It is his vision that people are chasing. It is the journey of the sales guy. When he's selling, what is he selling to the customer? He's selling the promised land. This is what I can offer you. But the journey to the promised land means you have to walk through the wilderness. In order to reach Madhuban, you have to go through Kurukshetra. There will be, and that's where change is about. And that's where fear comes in. That's where discomfort starts. Oh my God, why would I want to change? This wilderness is not a happy place. I don't want to go to the wilderness. Should I stay where I am? Or should I move on? Therefore, many people are not able to make the journey from being a service person to an entrepreneur. That journey is frightening. Because you're a pathfinder. You have to walk on a path which nobody has walked before. Nobody knows your particular market and your particular experiences. You're bound by common things, but there are many things that are uncommon. And so let us look at this story. It's a very famous story. And let's listen to the story carefully. So one day there is a river, and in the bend of the river called the Yamuna, it's poisonous. It's very poisonous, and nobody can go and take a bath there. Nobody can drink that water. Why is it poisonous? Because there's a snake there called Kalia, and it is not moving out. And then Krishna comes in and says, get out from this place. And he says, no, I will not go. And then we, of course, heard the story that Krishna and Kalia have this great battle, and finally Krishna jumps on him and throws him out. Now, if I listen to this story, there is a hero and a villain. Krishna is the hero, and Kalia is the villain. But now let me tell you a story which is also told in the Bhagavad and the Mahabharata, but somehow is not in the popular domain. For some reason, storytellers have not told us this story. Krishna asks Kalia, why are you not leaving this place? Why are you not going away? And he says, I am afraid. I am afraid. He says, why are you afraid? He says, you see, there is a bird called Garuda, and it wants to eat me. And for some magical reason, this particular part of the river is the only place where he cannot come. Therefore, I cannot go. यहाँ पे मैं safe हूँ, safe. ये secure place है. Suddenly, when you hear this version of the story, Kalia is not a villain. He is a victim. So think of people who are opposing the change that you are trying to introduce into your organization or into your client's organization. Opposition is natural, not because they are villains, but because they are afraid Garuda out there will eat them. And then you look at the villain or the person who is blocking change in a very different light. Problem क्या है? डर क्या है? Obstacle कहाँ से आ रहा है? What is he afraid of? Why is he not willing to change the vendor? Why is he not willing to break the contract? He's unhappy with that other person, but still he doesn't want to give me the contract because he's afraid. What is that fear? Can I handle that fear? Where is that fear coming from? Can fear be handled by logic or by something else? But am I diagnosing the problem correctly? And that brings us to another Saguna, a statue, a very famous statue. It's a Chola bronze image. It's called the Bhairava. Look at the image. It looks very beautiful, but if you look carefully, in one hand there's a drum, a rattle drum. On the other side there's a lasso. There is a sword, and there is a vessel full of blood. Very frightening image. Instead of hair, there is fire. The image is of Bhairava, जो भय को निकालता है, who removes fear, and is associated with a dog. Why dog? What's special about the dog? What is the answer? What is the Nirguna here? What is the idea being communicated? What is fear all about? What are they talking about? And then you start observing a dog, and anybody who has a pet dog will observe certain peculiar things about a dog. Most importantly, this. Even when they are domesticated and every day they're getting food and shelter and everybody is taking care of them, they will continue to mark territory. They will always mark territory. Why do you mark territory? Why do animals mark territory? We mark territory because I get my food, my resources come from this territory. Look at a dog very carefully. If you have a pet dog or a friend has a dog, the dog is constantly seeking attention. If you give it attention, it will wag its tail. If you don't give it attention, it will whine. Its tail will go between, it will start whining, whining, whining. If you threaten it, it will bark at you. Have you met people like this? Constantly seeking attention, getting very nervous when you don't give them attention, and barking and shouting when they feel threatened. Who are marking territory. This is my territory, don't enter my territory. What are these manifestations of? And the ancestors are saying, when you meet such a person, remember the dog. And when you remember the dog, remember Bhairava. Remember there is fear over here. And this fear is going to be the block. It is going to block you from changing, from transforming, from implementing. This is your greatest enemy. These are the Kalias you have to deal with. If you want to get rid of them, you can't force them out. You have to understand the fear. Get rid of the fear, the change will be managed. But be aware of the fear which is dominating. And then you look at the cow. And look at the difference between a cow and a dog. These are visual representations. They're trying to communicate an idea. So focus on the idea more than the imagery. These are only facilitating thought. So when the master is approaching the house, look at the dog. The dog is excited. Boss is coming, boss is coming, boss is coming. So happy. Khana dega mujhe. What about the cow? Does the cow look excited? He is not excited. He says, मेरे पास दूध है, वो तो आएगा. जब तक चारा नहीं डालेगा, दूध नहीं मिलेगा. Who is secure? And yet we love the dog because the dog's neediness fulfills some aspiration within us. So now visualize the customer and two people walking to him, two salesperson. One behaving like a dog, the other behaving like a cow. One saying, sir, 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 आप कितने महान हो. और दूसरा कहता है कि मेरे पास अच्छा टेक्नोलॉजी है. पैसे दो तो मिल जाएगा. धंधा किसके पास आएगा? Depends on the person. Depends on the person. तो आपको कभी कुत्ता बनना पड़ता है, कभी गाय बनना पड़ता है. Who is determining who you are? You have to become the behavioral, and it will only happen if you know who he is. जब तक उसका दर्शन नहीं करोगे, तो समझोगे कैसे? If you don't understand him, how will you know what to be in front of him? So who is determining your behavior? Your elevator speech कौन decide करता है? Customer या आप? तो शिव जी के पास जाते हैं तो बेलपत्ता लेके जाते हैं. कृष्ण के पास जाते हैं तो तुलसी लेके जाते हैं. तो बैग में सब रेडी रखना पड़ता है ना. You can't say it's more efficient. Can't the gods agree with one plant? ये efficiency, it's not a question of efficiency, it's a question of effectiveness. Who defines it? Who is God? Customer is God. भैरव के सामने कुत्ता, गोपाल के सामने गाय. Who has to change? Customer will never change. You have to change. And if you are Kalia poisoning the lake, then somebody will change you. These are the thoughts that they are talking about. Gopal, Bhairav, all manifestations of the divine, the cow, the dog, all within us, circumstances ke hisab se. Now look at your people who work for you. How do they look at you? If they behave like dogs, know that tum Bhairav jaise dikh rahe. If they behave like cows, then know that you are Gopal. How you behave is downstream, upstream, both ways is being determined by you. Are you creating Kurukshetra? Are you creating Madhuban? Is you. And that is especially the burden falls highly on entrepreneurs because your organization's success is not a function of the market. It is a function of who you are. Unfortunately, that's the burden you have put upon yourself. So anybody familiar with this? In South India, there's a very famous festival, Pongal. What do? You boil the rice and the milk till it overflows. Can you grow without change? And can you change without managing fear? So growth is about fear. How many times do we ask people when they're taking up jobs, what was your last failure? And you listen to him. Everybody talks about success, but the trick is about understanding failure. Because only when you can manage failure can you handle bigger success. We always talk about typical sales vocabulary. Sir, I've achieved this, I've achieved this, I've achieved this. Tell me what you have not achieved. Tell me how you feel. How do you handle the inability to get a contract? Because उससे पता चलता है कि इसका capability क्या है इस लड़के का, इस लड़की का. What is she made of? What is he made of? If you have people in your team who have handled failure well, chances of success are a little bit higher. But that's not part of the interview because when we are looking at growth, we are not saying growth is equal to change is equal to fear or fear management. It's not there. That is Nirguna. Fear is Nirguna. Saguna is growth. So let's understand this in the form of a story. Two images of Hanuman. On one side, you have Hanuman as Ramadas, Das. And he's telling Ram that, aap jo bolo hum kar denge. And Ram says, aisa nahi hoga. You have to be proactive, you can't be reactive. He says, nahi. He says, kal ko agar main nahi rahu to kaise kaam karega? He says, aise mat bolo Prabhu. Very, very dramatic, very theatrical. Without you, I cannot survive. And so Ram one day disappears. The story from the Adbhut Ramayana, and disappears. And series of adventures, and he's kidnapped by a sorcerer called Mahiravan. And Hanuman has to now fend for himself, find a method of getting rid of the problem and solving the problem himself. There is no Ram to support him. And at one particular point, we are told that there are 5 lamps that he has to blow out simultaneously. 5 lamps that he has to blow out simultaneously. And that time he takes this form and he pops the head of a boar, a lion, a horse, an eagle, and he blows out 5 flames with 5 heads. But those are details of the story. Look at the thought. Nirguna ko dekho. Look at the thought. You are seeing transformation and growth. From reactiveness to proactiveness. From reactive follower to a proactive follower. In this image, there is no other deity but Hanuman. He has become Bhagwan. So look at your teams and say, have I a lot of Hanumans? Or how many of them have become Mahabali, autonomous, independent entities who can grow the business? If they don't change, if they don't grow, will my business grow? So is growth in business a financial outcome because people have grown emotionally? I'm not talking about capacity building. I'm not talking about capability building. Those are skills. I'm talking about emotional. Have they matured enough to handle things autonomously and independently? If they have, the chances of you growing exponentially is greater. So 100 crore business has to become 500 crore business. How do I do that? If I have 10 people team, last year they made 10 crores. I have to enable them that each one of them makes 50 crores in the next 10 years. Or do I hire more people? Or do I get the same number of people to get me more money? How does the same number of people get me more money? If they don't become Mahabali, if they don't grow intellectually, which means they'll become autonomous. They may not be dogs anymore. They may turn into cows. But we want milk, right? What do we want? Doodh chahiye, preferably makhan. Doodh is top line. Makhan is bottom line. So you have to ask yourself what you seek. This is what the ancestors are saying is Sanatana. It's been thousands of them been telling, we don't listen. We prefer Harvard. And so we come to a very simple story from Indra. He's the king of paradise. He's the king of paradise. He's Swarg mein rehta hai. What is Swarg? What is paradise? What is heaven? He has got everything. He has got a cow called Kamadhenu, a wish-fulfilling cow. He has a tree called Kalpataru, wish-fulfilling tree. He has a jewel called Chintamani. What is that? Wish-fulfilling jewel. He has got Akshay Patra, overflowing with grain and gold. So how do I explain this to a person who doesn't like mythology? He says, explain to me in mathematical terms. Infinite return on investment. No work, but money should come. This must be heaven. Imagine if you didn't have to work at all and money just flowed in beautifully. Swargi hoga. Swargi hona chahiye. Hazaron saal se bol rahe hain, yahi hai swarg. And then they will tell you one thing very interesting. Indra is a highly insecure god. Whenever you read mythology, for 2000 years the books are repeatedly saying, Indra ka singhasan dagmagata hai. कोई ऋषि ने कोई तपस्या कर ली वो नर्वस, अरे कंपटीशन आ गया. कोई राजा यज्ञ करता है वापस नर्वस, अरे देयर न्यू पार्टनर, न्यू वेंडर, अरे बाप रे बाप, मैं अभी तक सिक्योर था, अभी सब चला गया, सब चला गया, सब चला गया. कोई असुर का जन्म होता है तो कंप्लीट नर्वस ब्रेकडाउन. Oh shit, they have started a vertical which is going to directly affect me. अभी तो गया काम से, depression, scotch quickly. Lakshmi seems to be always running from him. चंचला है, बहुत ही सुंदर है लेकिन चंचला है, भागना पड़ता है उसके पीछे. And I have heard this, if you don't have hunger, how will you make money? If you don't have hunger, how will you make money? I've always heard this line, traditional line, modern management line, unless you have ambition. And the Indian scriptures say, what nonsense. Look where Lakshmi is going. She's going somewhere else. She's going towards Vishnu, another character. And he is not chasing her, she is chasing him. What would you like to be? Ambitious and hungry Indra, who chases the numbers, or Vishnu, calm and composed, ensuring the number chases him. बांसुरी मैं बजाऊंगा, भौंकोगे तुम. It's a mindset game. It's a mindset game. ये thought है. It's all about thoughts. If your thoughts are clear, Nirguna is thoughts. Nirguna is thoughts. If your thoughts are clear, your decision making is very different. If your thought is complicated, your actions are very different. Nirgun se sagun aata hai. Asatoma sadgamaya. Asat means that which doesn't exist. Thoughts don't exist. Kahan hai? Dikhao mujhe thoughts. Sadgamaya. Dikhai deta hai sagun. What can be seen? I look at your business and I can tell how much fear you have. How much are you investing in risk management strategies? It reveals, it takes 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to reveal कहाँ से आ रहा है organization. Is it fear driven or is it growth driven? Very different. This is the story. They're constantly talking about, do you want Lakshmi to chase you? And if you want to change, what has to change? Where is Indra and where is Vishnu? Market में लक्ष्मी है. जितना यू चर्न मक्खन निकलेगा, लेकिन रहेगा आपके साथ या कल किसी और के पास. इन बंगाली दे से लक्ष्मी लक्खी टेरा, शी स्क्विंट. You think the contract is coming towards you, but it goes to the competition. That's the problem. And this is business is all about. And they're saying, Lakshmi sits there. They say she clings to his feet. She multiplies herself. And he is not seem to look at her at all. But why is she chasing, multiplying herself? And observe, what is the difference between Indra and Vishnu? Fundamental difference क्या है? Vishnu is constantly changing. Kabhi Ram, kabhi Krishna, kabhi Varaha, kabhi Parshuram. Constant transformation is the narrative. What Americans called avatar, and we call avatar. What is it all about? Constant transformation, non-stop. Jaisa yug, vaisa avatar. Who changes first? I change first or the market changes first? Who determines I should change? No, I will not change. ये मेरे उसूल के खिलाफ है. Die. Or be malleable and ductile and change. Who determines? Who is determining? Is Vishnu changing? आज मेरा mood है, आज मैं राम बनूंगा. ऐसे नहीं होता है. It begins with customer sensitivity. अगर रावण है तो राम, अगर दुर्योधन है तो कृष्ण, अगर भैरव है तो कुत्ता, अगर गोपाल है तो गाय. Who is determining? The सामने वाला is changing. दर्शन किसके कर रहे हो आप? Upstream or downstream? Customer or employee? Your darshan determines your understanding and your transformatory abilities. Indra is not changing for anyone. He is obsessed with himself. And that is the shift they are talking about. Customer sensitivity. Look at the other. सामने वाले को देखो. Lakshmi उसके pocket में है. You have to encourage him to remove the pocket. Go to Tirupati Balaji and throw it. Where is Tirupati Balaji? Hopefully in your organization. And that is the trick. It is a message. It's a metaphor. It's a thought provoker. Sagun dekho ya Nirguna dekho. Sagun is rituals. Sagun is stories. Sagun is symbols. Nirgun is the thought. And I feel this is a thought for all of us. You see, both Ramayana and Mahabharata deal with Vanavas. Vana. Forest. Forest is frightening. In forest, everybody is an animal. Everybody is fighting for survival. That is the reality we are in. Kurukshetra. Madhuban kahan hai? Who will bring Madhuban? The person who builds the organization. The entrepreneur. सब मधुबन के खोज में है. सब रथ को चलाने में तैयार है. आप कृष्ण हो. गोपाल हो तो गाय आ जाएगी, दूध आ जाएगी. That's the question. And that's the belief we are talking about in leadership. Are you ready to take people into Vanavas? And you will come back as king to Ayodhya. But unless you are ready to fight in the marketplace, unless you are there inside, it won't work. लोग डरते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप डर गए तो सब टूट जाएगा. And that is what belief is all about. It is not blind belief, it is about sensitivity, being aware of the Bhairava, being aware of Kalia, of the Kutta, of the Guy, of the Gopal? Are we aware? Think of this talk as a set of frameworks. I have given you only frameworks, if you think about it, only frameworks. And look at yourselves with one visual imagery. You see, this is the model that we work on. Business depends on how you behave, and how you behave depends on what you believe in. Your belief will determine your behavior, your team's behavior, your customer's behavior, which will determine your business. Jaisa Vishwas, वैसा व्यवहार, वैसा व्यापार. And your team is looking at you, your customers are looking at you, the market is looking at you. If you don't have Vishwas in yourself, then the problem starts. So one visual imagery for you all. This is again a Chola bronze image. And look at this image very carefully. There are two images you will see over here, very popular. Ek hai Abhay Mudra. Don't be afraid. Abhay Mudra. Don't be afraid. Primary thing that a leader has to do. उसके टीम हमेशा nervous है. Sir, कल को business नहीं होगा तो, कल का contract नहीं मिलेगा तो. There is nervousness, constant anxiety. And the second anxiety, Varada Mudra. I will give. I will provide. Don't worry, it will happen. These are the two assurances that both your customer wants and your employee wants. That's all. And in a way, that's what you want too. It's a chain. Both of these are emotional gestures. And these are the basic requirements of a leader. People turn to leaders because they are saying, mujhe panah do. Allow me, give me shelter. And convince me that you will take me to Madhuban and I will run for you. And that's what your customers also say. Tell me that when you sign the contract, you will give me Madhuban. And if you can reassure me of that, I am willing to change. Think of this, and I'll conclude with one story. You see, Ramayana was written by Valmiki. Ramayana was written by Valmiki. And after he wrote the Ramayana, he showed it to everybody. And he said, look at my Ramayana, look at my Ramayana. And everybody saw the Ramayana and said, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then Narad Muni comes in and he looks at it and he says, very good, but not good enough. He says, what is better? Somebody's written a better Ramayana? He said, of course. Hanuman has written a better Ramayana. He says, oh, Hanuman has written that monkey? He says, yes. So Valmiki gets nervous and he runs quickly and goes to Hanuman and says, Hanuman, I heard you have written a Ramayana. And Hanuman says, yes. He says, ye likho, ye patte ke upar maine likha hai. So Valmiki reads that and he says, it's beautiful because the grammar, the diction, the vocabulary, the melody, the meter is outstanding. And Valmiki starts to cry. And he says, itna acha Ramayana. So Hanuman says, why are you crying? Is it bad? He says, no, it's so good. After reading your Ramayana, nobody is going to read my Ramayana. You will overshadow me. So Hanuman then just crushes that piece of leaf and he puts it in his mouth and swallows it. Valmiki says, what did you do? You destroyed your work. Nobody is going to read your book anymore. He says, yes, you need the Ramayana more than I do. You wrote the Ramayana so that the world will remember Valmiki. I wrote the Ramayana so that everyone remembers Ram. Ask yourselves why you have established your business. So that you will be remembered, so that Valmiki will be remembered, or everyone will remember Ram. For whom is your organization? For you or for your customer or for your employee? Ask this fundamental question and a major shift will happen in your thinking process. Jaisa Vishwas, Vaisa Vyavhar, Vaisa Vyapar. Thank you.